Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and obviously I am in the greenhouse this morning. I'm going to plant tomatoes and peppers and some other stuff. We are behind. We know we are behind. And I won't say I don't care, because I do care, but I am just not going to beat myself up about it. It is April. We can never plant outside for tomatoes and peppers and stuff like that safely, completely safely, until the beginning of June. Although usually after May 15th, if you're willing to cover things a little bit, you can get away with things. So I'm going to plant tomatoes and peppers and some other stuff. Now what I have here is part of a seed starting kit that I got from Hoss Tools. I'm super pleased with this kit. It is super sturdy. We've used it for, I don't remember if we had it last year for sure. I don't remember if we got it the year before or what, but super pleased with it. Everything is like really, made out of real plastic that's going to last for a very long time. And I'm going to get started. This is not brain surgery. I have my seeds and I have my labels. And if you know me, you know I am big on labels. Now, the reason I am big on labels is because we frequently wind up doing a lot of transplanting and moving of things around, and sometimes on an emergency basis, like when suddenly you're going to be 20 degrees at night and you need to get everything back in. So in order to avoid disasters and not being sure what the heck I have for plants, I have become very religious, shall we say, about marking things. So I have, my first thing here is my Hossinators. Now, if you followed us before, you will know that Hossinators are a Hoss Tools seed that is a big beef, and it is, I want to say, pretty darn amazing. It is split resistant. It has a good package for disease resistance, the whole 9 yards. Very prolific, and the flavor is amazing. Because I'll be honest, I don't really care how good the seed packet, the disease packet, and everything else is. If it tastes like you know what, I am not interested in eating it. So we are very fussy about our tomatoes. We really are. We have certain profiles that we personally like. We are big on big beef sort of tomatoes. So we have tried big beef, we have tried beef master, we've tried all kinds of things over the years, and we are now going to just plant Hossinators. It's just, it's what we like. So there's no reason to fool around with it. Now I have 6 spots here that I have planted them in. My goal is to have at least 4 that are ready to use in a timely fashion. And I'm checking my germination date on these. In some cases they're brand new seeds, in some cases they're not. I want to use the older seeds up first. And if I have to replant, I will. I may also plant a few extra. I am actually planting a few extra of everything because I want to be pretty certain that I get everything that I really want. We've already decided that if we wind up with extras, we'll simply give them away. At the garden club meeting, probably. Now, this next plant that I'm planting is Bella Rosa. It is also a Hoss Tools tomato. It is a determinate tomato. Both the Hossinator and the Bella Rosa are determinate. That does not mean it's tiny. It's actually I think most of my Bella Rosas were about 3 feet tall. Now that's just me. We find that a lot of times our stuff doesn't get as big and robust as some of the other people's do, and that has to do with our growing conditions. We are a naturally rough environment. I do not have all of my little signs here made, but I have a bunch. I fished up all the old ones that I could find this morning as I've been cleaning up stuff around the house and the workshop and every place. I have been collecting together the seeds, or the seed labels, so that I, at least when I'm starting, don't need to create a whole stack of new labels. The two different kinds I have this sturdy one, which I think I may have picked up. These are probably from the hydroponics shop because they're a bit sturdier. And then I have some real cheapies, these guys here, from Amazon. I bought, I think, 2,000 at a time or something like that. Ridiculous. So I have like a lifetime supply of them. Even the cheap ones from Amazon, if you take care of them and, you know, don't bang them around too much, last at least a season or two. So that's a pretty good deal from my perspective. Now let's see, I have some more. Need to fish out that other one. Come here. No, there's none of the packet seeds. There he is. I was talking about the ones I was just planting, which is the Bella Rosa. A Bella Rosa is, as I said, a determinate. It is a pleasant round tomato. It makes great sauce. It's very meaty. And it also doesn't tend to split or anything else. It's got a good disease package with it. It was very prolific the last time we grew it, and we were happy with it in the yard in a year that had really bad everything because the weather was so hot. So we figure if it did well there, we've got a pretty darn good chance of making it do well here. Now, remember, these plants are actually going to be grown in the greenhouse. I am not going to plant these in the yard because we've decided not to plant tomatoes in the yard this year. Could we wind up planting tomatoes in the yard? I suppose we could. We could lose our minds and decide to do it. But in general, we have decided that it's not worth fighting the battle outside for some of these things. And if they will do well in the greenhouse, then so much the better. I'm going to tuck these underneath in the shade now that I have got them emptied out. I don't like to leave anything in the sun longer than I have to. But that's our Bella Rosas. Now, the third one that I just planted is Amanda Orange. And that was originally a gift from CB's greenhouse and garden. And it is a tomato that he was gifted a while ago. And he loved it. So he's shared the joy with other people, and we definitely qualify as being joyful with it. We love the darn stuff. It is an orange beefsteak style tomato. Now, the big problem I have with that is my brain wants beefsteak tomatoes and all other style tomatoes to be red. I am not one of these people who runs off and normally wants to grow lots and lots of other things that are not red. It's just a thing I have. I have tried other tomatoes that were not red and found them to be in a blind taste test where I was not looking to see what color the tomato was. The flavor just wasn't there for me. So my goal when I grow tomatoes of any size or type is real serious flavor. So if I'm not getting that, not going to do it again. So I have a problem with the fact that it's orange. But to be honest, the darn tomatoes are just so tasty. It does not have a disease package to speak of because it's an older open pollinated variety. So you have to be aware of that. But other than that, it's a winner, a big time winner. Big time winners are kind of high on my list. We're doing that again. What we do in here is we put them down towards the other end because our airflow goes this way. So the theory is that since our majority airflow is this way, any kind of things that Amanda Orange catches will tend to be limited to the other end of the greenhouse, at least at the start. Eventually it spreads everywhere if they have some sort of blight or something and you don't have other blight-resistant tomatoes. But it has proved to help, or at least in our minds it helps. And sometimes that's all that matters. It works in your mind, so it works. Busy dropping in a few more seeds here, and then I will talk to you about my next tomato. These are particularly tiny seeds, so they're kind of a pain, and you can guess where. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, Amanda Orange is an orange beefsteak style tomato, so that means you get monster tomatoes out of that, and it is the kind that you make a tomato sandwich with. You just, slap that tomato, a one piece of tomato. You don't have to piece anything together. It's all there for you. So we're growing a bunch of those again to try and see if we can have those tomato sandwiches. Henry's into tomato sandwiches. I prefer BLTs, but that's okay. We can make it work. Next two plants actually that I'm growing are both dwarfs. And we got these from Hosinator, We got these from Hoss Tools. We decided that they were really worth it because we really enjoyed them. And that's the definition of why we grow things. So we have red robins and we have rosy finch, and they are both dwarf tomatoes. Now those plants are only going to get 1 to 2 feet tall. And they were amazing last year. The red robins were. We also grew, I want to say canary yellow or something was the name of it. It's a kind of a lemony flavor tomato. It was okay, but we're trying to eliminate the just okay tomatoes from our list of things to do. So we're not going to do that again. That's the best way to put it. We decided that we were just going to grow the red robin because the canary ones were just okay. However, last year I had started just a couple of the rosy finch, and every single one of them didn't make it. It was just one of those random things that happens where stuff goes wrong, and you're like, okay, well, that's not cool. And it was too late by the time we realized, and we just decided we had enough tomatoes anyway. We just were not going to worry about it. Rosy finch we haven't tried. The red robin we have tried, and they're both dwarfs. Now the seeds I just planted are for Shelby. Now Shelby is a paste tomato. And it's a medium-sized sort of a thing, about that big. Not the giant, but, decent size. And moderately prolific. We really like the flavor. I actually had to go back to my videos to remember which was which, because sometimes you kind of get wrapped around an axle in terms of what you're doing. And you forget. I mean, it was like, well, did we like the Invincible best or do we like the Shelby best? Well, we decided we like Shelby best. Shelby is a determinate tomato, same as just about everything else. The only thing we're growing that's not determinate are the two dwarfs, which is red robin and rosy finch, and the Amanda Orange, which is indeterminate. We're just gonna go with it, as they say. See how this all works. But Shelby was great for making sauce. So we decided we would do that again this year. The next thing I'm planting is actually a pepper, not a tomato. So far it has been Henry's favorite pepper that we've come across. This is also a Hoss Tools pepper. Seed. It just happens to be a pepper. It is called Mamma Mia Rosso. It is a roasting pepper. That means it gets to be big and sort of like a long banana pepper, but it's great for roasting on the barbecue. Henry likes to char the outsides of them and peel them and then do different things with them. So we decided that we had only a couple last year, which he really enjoyed, but this year we decided we'd grow a whole bunch more of them and then see if we could process them in some way and freeze them, can them, do something so that he could have them whenever he wanted them, not just, at those convenient times of year when they're growing merrily along in the greenhouse. So I have just planted 6 of those plants. So that entire row is Mamma Mia Rosso. And I know that 6 is not a lot to a lot of people, but this is all greenhouse stuff. We're not putting these outside. Last year we had some peppers outside, and the rats stripped them off completely. I had fruits that were, 2 or 3 inches long, and then they're gone. So we just decided, just not going to play that game. If you hear slurping, it's Mr. Rufus over here. I have a bucket of water here specifically for him that I have been trying to teach him is okay to drink from, because it's his clean bucket of water, and he can have a drink anytime he wants. So he's getting the hint.